Hey there, everyone. I'm Tom Albano, and I want to welcome you to a special edition of the Unspoken Podcast. Of course, this week came an announcement that Eli Manning has been benched in favor of Geno Smith. As many of you know who listen to us, myself and Nick Fodera are big Giants fans. And what you're going to hear over the next hour and a half that we recorded Wednesday afternoon is genuine, raw reaction. As always, we're always giving you genuine takes, but what you're going to hear and what makes this a special edition is, as the episode progresses, some quotes, some takes, some news comes out. And as the show progresses, you get to feel our raw emotion, not just as journalists and media people looking at the situation, but as fans. You get to feel the hurt we have as fans. So, it's going to be a wild ride. Enjoy it.
This is the Unspoken Podcast, Special Edition, with Tom Albano, Nick Fodera, and Nick Morgasen on the Undetermined Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say. Here we are. I'm speechless. I'm as speechless as Ben McAdoo at a press conference after a blowout of a game. As I said on Twitter, on the UDUP Twitter account, I thought last week when we had the Unspoken Roundtable, that was going to be it for our mini episodes up to episode 50. But no. The Giants have decided, we need some spotlights. We need our own edition of the Unspoken Podcast. So here we are, a special edition of the Unspoken Podcast. Yeah, we were hoping this day would never come. We were hoping we would never have to talk about this. But here we are. And I'm Tom Albano, along with Nick Fodera and Nick Morgasen. Boys, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is craziness at its finest.
I have decided, in the best interest of two Giants fans and all three of us being in New York sports media, I figured, you know what? Let's talk. Let's take a normal Unspoken Podcast episode, or even less time, and let's just talk about this. Let's let everything out. Let's cry, let's rant, let's discuss, let's debate, let's argue, let's just get everything out there and figure out where the hell we are.
See, I asked a question before we went on to start this thing, and I said, what's worse, masturbating orangutans or the Giants quarterback situation with Eli Manning? I'm going to let Nick Fodera answer that question because he had a great answer for that rebuttal.
Well, this is worse because it's not just being in a locked room with masturbating orangutans. The orangutans are now pissed off, and they're looking at you, and they're charging at you, and they're going to rip you limb from limb. So not only are you sliding around in a pool of genetic material that pretty much belongs to great apes, they're angry, and they're going to rip you apart.
Wow.
So, at this point, look, context is necessary. For those of you who don't know why the fuck we're on.
For those of you who apparently have not been paying attention to media in football for the last, 24, 48 hours.
It's been less than 48 hours, in fact. It hasn't even been 24 since they announced. And what they announced is Ben McAdoo has decided, in the midst of a spectacular failure of a Giants football season, has decided to bench Eli Manning. Decided to bench him, and who, pray tell, are they replacing him with? Take me home, boys. Who do they bring in?
This is crazy. Because
it's a name I never thought that I would be saying. It is a name that I would hope I would never have to say. It is a name that I have never understood the signing of him once it was first announced.
Wait a second.
Smith.
What I was going to say, is this worse than Tom Savage?
That might be up for debate.
At least Tom Savage is the answer to a trivia question, not a walking joke.
Well, that's debatable, but at the same time, let's delve into some tweets that we saw for some Giants players, because some amazing Super Bowl run players for the Giants have spoken out into some major words.
Major.
Oh yes. It's been basically Krakatoa.
So
it's the Krakatoa of takes.
Krakatoa. So this is a little irony when I tell you who this person is, because actually, you know what? I'll leave that for the end after I read the statement, because you're going to laugh when I tell you why it's a little bit of irony. So Carl Banks, just keep that name in mind, and I'll tell you why it's a little weird why he would make this statement. So let me just say context necessary before we begin. This is an uncensored podcast, so we're going to read every word of every tweet. We're not going to sugarcoat curse words. I'm going to read it exactly how it is. So this is what Carl Banks said. I am very emotional about this Eli shit. The guy who gave you everything, for better or worse, never missing a game, and this is how it ends. Not number 10. He deserves better. Okay, of course he can't do proper grammar. He gives us all when better wasn't there for him. And this is how it ends. I hurt for him. Thoughts?
I also hurt for him. That wasn't the end. He went on.
Well, that's the important one. But what's irony is, hey, fellas, you know that he works and is employed by the Giants, right?
Oh, does he now?
You know he works for WFAN and he's employed by the Giants.
Yes.
You know what this is like? This is like Vin Scully. Well, though he's not. This is like Vin Scully saying, you know what? Fuck the Dodgers.
Oh, God. And the sick part is that he would probably get away with saying that because he's been there for 40 or 50 years.
Yeah, you know what this is like? This is like him not only saying fuck the Dodgers, standing up, pulling his pants down, and waving his privates at the camera going, suspend this!
Jesus.
You know what? And I'll make another comment that will lead us into the next thing. Think of Michael Kay during the Yankee broadcast basically coming out saying, fuck the New York Yankees. I hope they lose everything and they never win a World Series again.
And he's been quite defensive of the way he broadcasts games, because they believe that he's not enough of a quote unquote homer.
He's come out and said that he is a homer.
Like, say, but we're talking Hawk Harrelson homer, but this is unprecedented.
Well, this is the thing. Weeks ago when we talked Hawk and Mike and stuff, I think you can be a homer, but still try to sound as neutral as possible and try to have as fair of a perspective as possible.
But wait a second. When you're the home announcer for a team, your job is to let the audience who's watching on a local network, this is not football. We're not watching network channels when it comes to watching the games. Well, baseball is regional local. NBA is regional local. Hockey is regional local. So there's a difference.
Let's not get off the point here, which is this is a phenomenally bad look by the New York Giants. Not only is this a disgrace, an absolute disgrace, and the final metamorphosis into the Jets, this is just phenomenally bad optics. I mean, we as Giants fans like to position ourselves as above the Jets, right? We're sitting on our high horses, right?
Well, not just that. You'll hear it from all the media people that either will play or you can search them for yourselves. But the Giants were always seen as a class organization. They were always classy. They were like the role models you could look up to.
Well, right. The ownership group had its way of doing things. Now, we're talking about class of an organization. We'll get into it more in a few minutes. But what I want to say is their reputation of being tested as a class organization is going up in flames, because if you look at what's happened in the past few days, the ownership's not on the same page. Steve Tisch and John Mara are basically keeping quiet on a situation that they're having with their quarterbacks. Apparently they gave Eli the choice to keep his streak alive, to start. And then they would bench him in the half, which makes no sense, because if you're trying to lose games to try to keep the low pick, then why would you start him? Or if you're trying to win the game, you got to play him the whole game. So there's a problem here. And then
just
also,
what the monkey fuck are you trying to do?
Right. And then you have Davis Webb, which they stupidly wasted a third round pick to get, which she's never going to see the field probably.
I was going to say, well, here's one of my big problems. Here's a problem Max Kellerman has had. There's a problem a bunch of people have had. Okay, so if you want to evaluate your other quarterbacks, is it not logical to go to Davis Webb, who you, as Nick said, had a third-round pick on this past draft? So he'll have more, he might have more future, I guess is the right word.
Here's the problem. The problem is that he hasn't gotten any first reps. So how can you expect him to come in and do what he's supposed to do? Apparently in the practices, his job is like to scout the defense for the first reps. So, which I don't understand. I heard that the other day.
I also don't understand that. And I don't understand why, and Nick Fodera would know this because we have talked about this since the beginning of the summer. Why the fuck did they sign Geno Smith?
Apparently, this is the reason why. Apparently, the veneer, the chicanery has been exposed for what it is.
But what does Geno Smith? What liability? I shouldn't say liability, but what credibility does Geno Smith have? He was in New York as a Jet.
Nothing.
I was going to say, everyone who is coming out and saying, we'll give him a chance because it's a new system. Listen, if he did what he did with the freaking Jets and he did jack shit with them, what's he going to do with a jack shit 2-9 New York Giants team with no Odell Beckham Jr., no Sterling Shepard, no Brandon Marshall, no running game, no offensive line, defense shittier than last year? What's he going to do?
Well, this is the problem. So when wait a minute.
When the Jets team he was on.
Wait a minute.
And he sucked in.
What I was going to say is that with the Jets, he actually had an O-line that would hold him up so he wouldn't get sacked, and he still managed to get sacked. Now think about it. When he's with the Giants with no O-line, and he takes forever to throw the football.
He's going to get creamed.
He is going to die. He might just atomize into a million pieces.
Here's the thing. Let's just call it for what it is. Ben McAdoo is in a no-win situation. He's
going to get fired. We know this already. We already
does not know what he's doing.
Here's the thing. Because now that he's put Geno Smith in, everyone's saying, he's just, it's the Giants organization is just tanking. Here's the thing. Geno Smith over Davis Webb. Are you kidding me?
But here's the problem. People are missing one small thing in this situation, which is the ownership had to sign off on Geno Smith starting. Excuse me. But so it wasn't Ben McAdoo. Everyone's saying Ben McAdoo made the choice. No. The ownership had to sign off on benching Eli to put Geno Smith in. So blame the ownership if this fucks up.
This is an organizational failure from top to bottom, A to Z, start to finish.
Everyone, Ben McAdoo, Jerry Reese, Mara and Tisch, they all should be ashamed.
Yeah, but the problem is, as they say, in the ownership world, owners don't get fired. The GM, the coach, and everybody else get fired. So I don't know what to do here. The owners are just going to keep fucking up.
Well, this is... to me, I guess this is just more for Mara and Tisch's sake that they're not coming to their franchise quarterback's aid. This is just Jerry Reese being Jerry Reese, because this, I think, just proves also Jerry Reese cares nothing about the draft. And if he's around for next draft, it's going to get fucked up.
I'm the one who said he should have been fired. I was on the record 2 years ago saying that Jerry Reese should have been fired, but he doesn't get fired.
Nothing will change if you do not get rid of him. If you get rid of Ben McAdoo, you are putting a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound. You are. You are going to bleed out if you do not fix this from a top to bottom level. Everything in the organization needs to change.
Here's the thing. After this situation, like now that I've had time to think about it and everything and digest, if you know what would be, like if we couldn't fire Jerry Reese and McAdoo, you can only get rid of one. Then just get rid of Jerry Reese.
I have a perfect saying for the situation. I think Taylor Swift said it best. Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes, and just say sorry just because. So if you remember
you had to bring that song in.
If you remember from the song Bad Blood, because they're talking about fixing bullet wounds. So I think basically what Nick said is correct, that they're trying, if they just fire Ben McAdoo and keep Jerry Reese, they're just putting a Band-Aid over a bullet hole, and they're just apologizing because they have to.
This is look. I am not going to because I've seen it. I've seen it already. Oh well, this started with him not standing up to Odell Beckham because look, I don't want to fucking hear it about. Oh well, this all started when they drafted Odell Beckham. He's got fucking nothing to do with it. That's
wait a minute.
Move that he actually got right.
No. That's not where I was going to go. But I think that
I'm not saying you were. I'm just saying I've been hearing it.
Oh no, but what I was going you brought up Odell Beckham. I was going to make a point, and I said it last night on social media, which was I think that McAdoo fucked up when he didn't discipline OBJ for being a dog urinating on the field.
You're taking you're doing the Michael Kay approach. You're talking about Michael Kay stuff, right?
No, but I'm just talking about in general that McAdoo should have disciplined OBJ because
double fucking standard.
No, it's not. It's you're a moron. You decided to make your coach look stupid. Your coach didn't do anything, and it led to all the other attitude problems, including Janoris Jenkins not trying. And
but that's what I'm saying. It's a double standard that you didn't suspend Odell Beckham, but you suspended everybody else.
Because
he's the star. You're not going to suspend the star.
Bullshit.
That's what it is. I'm sorry to tell you that.
I was going to say, the reason why he supposedly, from what I've heard, that he did the urinating dog, supposedly it was a statement of backlash towards a certain person in the White House right now. But
that's stupid.
I know, but here's the thing. When that happens, the reason why I was upset with it and people I knew were upset with it was because, the NFL, we had criticized the NFL for being the no fun league. And now suddenly they loosened up on the touchdown celebrations. Doing that, it's like, oh God, please don't ruin it for everybody again.
See, that's my point.
It doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there whether what he did. He got suspended and then he got injured because you know what? His story in this season is essentially over, but it is part of a larger narrative, and the larger narrative is
in that either for the 2017 Giants season, people. I'll sum it up. Everybody except maybe 3 or 4 people, actually maybe 3 people that I can think off the top of my head exactly. It's either they have been injured or they have quit on the team.
Yes,
you want to know the 3 people? 3 people who I think have not quit on this team and have not gotten injured: Eli, Evan Ingram, and Snacks.
That's it.
Yeah, but I would say Evan, he might have not quit, but he hasn't been playing anywhere near where he should be playing.
And yet, here's the thing about Ingram.
At least he's just trying.
Carrying the whole team on he's carrying the whole team on his back.
Yes, who are you fucking throwing to?
Nobody. You're throwing to nobody.
Who the fuck is Lewis anyways?
It's the same thing I told you during class yesterday, Tom. If Roger Lewis makes a great throw, who the fuck cares? It's like if a tree falls in the forest, if no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? No. If he makes a good catch, do we give a shit? No. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's just I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is.
I mean, basically,
He's not up to the level of those other guys, the guys, Marshall, Sterling Shepard, and
Odell.
Odell.
I mean, you could say that about all of New York. Both New York teams basically have no wide receivers at this point. But what I was going to say is basically it's like the sound of one hand clapping. You wouldn't know if it actually made a sound or something.
It's a Zen riddle. It's a Zen riddle of awfulness.
Also, considering that, let's consider some circumstances, boys. When that Lewis catch happened, they were playing the Chiefs, and they got their second win, and it's like, congratulations, you fucked your draft pick again. And
yeah, but at the wait a minute. At the same time, this is the problem with our society today, which is when we're a bad team, we have to now tank until we have a draft pick. We need to get out of that mode because, and I know that's never going to happen, but when you actually win a game, people are pissed off at you because of your bad record because you won a number one overall pick.
Well, here's the thing. Goes back to what I've been trying to say about McAdoo, and it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now that he's put Geno Smith in, because it's like, hey, if Geno Smith somehow succeeds somewhat, well, damned if you do, because now you've just lost. Let's face it, he's not going to succeed.
Well, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think that Geno Smith is going to get cut at the end of the season.
Oh, I agree.
In other news, grass is green.
Yeah, but the thing is, the way the Giants situation is, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow brought him back on the roster.
Okay, that's fair. But here's the thing. It's like, damned if you do, because guess what? Let's face it, they're playing the Raiders. What have we agreed when that week happened, when they beat the Chiefs? The AFC West sucks.
They're going to lose.
They better lose, because at this point, the season is lost. At this point, the team is lost and doesn't give a shit. The fans have lost and they don't give a shit.
But
Wait.
Hold on.
Burn this motherfucker down.
Hold up. See, that's the problem, Tom. That's what I've been saying. That as a Giant fan, because of our society of wanting the pick, now you're rooting for your team to lose.
I guess, but let me word it better, Nick. Nobody cares about the Giants anymore.
Oh no, you're right. You're 100% right.
Broken already.
No, you're 100% right. I agree. But at the same time, it's our fucked up society that as a football fan, now we want to lose all the time just so we can get the pick.
I mean, okay.
And that leads to people getting fired and Eli getting benched for no reason whatsoever. So
if we're benching Eli, why Geno Smith? What is Geno Smith going to do? He's not going to be your quarterback of the future. If anybody, is either going to be Davis Webb or it's going to be whoever you're going to draft. If you're even going to draft a quarterback you're not going to draft a quarterback.
That leads to another question I have, though. So if you're going to bench Eli, are you going to bench whatever's left of the starters also?
At this point, you have no choice.
Yeah.
You're an open rebellion, so you might as well.
It's not going to happen, though, because apparently it only affects Eli.
And here's the thing. When I saw the tears form in Eli's eyes, that made it official for me. This team is lost. This team has no hope in its head coach. This team has no hope in its general manager. Anything about this team, anything positive, is gone.
See, people
weeks ago, Tom. This is just.
I know, but
this is the symptom, not the cause.
I know, but the tears in Eli's eyes, that's, you know what it is? It's placing the stamp on the envelope, basically.
I don't know if I'd go that far. But at the same time, people are, and I'm taking the other side of this, but I want to bring it up because it was talked about, was that people say, oh, Eli had the choice if he wanted to play. And I said, you know what? The reason he's not playing is because it's out of respect for the organization. It's not because he's making a decision for himself. He's being.
They don't want him to play.
He's a gentleman. That's why.
Well, Nick, I'm not talking about the organization. I'm talking about Eli as
an individual. He's a gentleman.
Right. He's being respectful. He's a class guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
In a supposed classy organization, which I don't really think is a classy organization anymore.
After this move, and New York media all agrees, they're not class. They are classless.
No, instead of class, they're sass.
They were never class. They were just able to successfully project that image.
Instead of class, they're a bunch of asses.
Well, I think a couple of New York media people have said it best. Once Jeter retired, Eli became the new Jeter.
I mean, that's a little debatable, but at the same time, I understand where you're going with that point.
Not at the level of Jeter's popularity or anything, but maybe not also in his skill, but just
in terms of reputation.
In terms of reputation, the face, the cleanest face of New York sports until maybe this year now that Aaron Judge is around.
No, I agree with you 100. I agree with you on that point from the standpoint. He's respectful. He's class. He's not going to go out and be on the tabloids. Well, Jeter was on the tabloids towards the end of his career, but that's nor here nor there. But Eli is...
Boys, we have some breaking news.
Oh, no.
We have some breaking news very related to this situation.
Oh, no.
All right, so I'm going to read this off of the score. I'm going to read this off of the
Did Ben McAdoo get fired?
No. I will read the headline first. Giants owner explains move to sit Eli. Coach, GM decisions to come. So I will read as follows. New York Giants owner John Mara spoke to the media Wednesday after his team's decision to bench star quarterback Eli Manning set off a firestorm of criticism. Mara explained he initiated a conversation with general manager Jerry Reese to take another look at other quarterbacks on the roster as the Giants sputtered to a 2-9 record and eliminated from postseason contention Sunday. No shit, we were eliminated from postseason contention.
That's the statement of the year right now for the New York Giants.
No shit.
No.
Anything else?
Shit.
Anything else he said?
Here's the quote. This quote comes from Tom Rock of Newsday.
Okay.
Mara says, I expected an emotional reaction from fans. It's been in excess of what I expected. Given what he has meant to our franchise, it's understandable. Mara said he made the suggestion to Reese a week or two ago, and he spoke to McAdoo, who has drawn most of the vitriol.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Jerry Reese was the one who made this call?
Mara made the suggestion to Jerry Reese a week or two ago. Now it said, wait, let me read it. Okay, there's a little something unclear here because he said he spoke to head coach Ben McAdoo. Of course, now there's two. I have to be the grammar nerd that I am. There's two he subjects, so it doesn't clarify who spoke to McAdoo, if it was Mara or if it was Reese. But this all now has just confirmed. Now this has all just confirmed that this is not Ben McAdoo. This is Jerry Reese, and this is whoever else. You
know what? If it's not McAdoo, it has to be Jerry Reese because Jerry Reese is the GM of the team. He's responsible for making the final calls on this team.
And you know what? You know what this has done, boys? In my opinion, you remember how I said Ben McAdoo needs to be fired, but Jerry Reese, no. This has switched it. Reese has to go. He has to be number one.
That never changed in my
If you remember, guys, I said at the beginning of the season, Jerry Reese had to go.
You're right. I mean, at the very least we can say about Ben McAdoo, he has a winning season under his belt. He has a playoff. His team has made the playoffs at least once under his belt.
I mean, what were they, 10-6?
Yeah. So this has all but confirmed that the poison is Jerry Reese.
They were 11-5, by the way.
11-5. Okay.
Oh, right. But here's my problem with those statements. Okay, so if it didn't come from
there's more, Nick. I apologize. There is another quote. I don't know that this will give us all the info, but it's better than nothing. He's talking about taking a look at the younger quarterbacks. Obviously, we'll have a high draft pick, and there will be quarterbacks available. We want to make that decision having watched these guys play. We obviously have some decisions to make this offseason.
So here's my problem. Here's my problem with those statements.
No shit.
Wait a minute. Here's my problem with those statements, okay? So we just heard those statements, and we're getting some confusion, like Tom said, from the standpoint of, did the ownership make the statement? Did Jerry Reese make the statement? Was Ben McAdoo involved, which I don't think he was? And here's the problem. The ownership is never going to take responsibility for a decision. So it's got to be Jerry Reese. And like Tom said, and I said at the beginning of the season, Jerry Reese has had 9 lives, and we got to get him the fuck out of here.
I mean, at this point, Nick, remember what I told you yesterday in class? At this point, you know what I would do next season? Well, this offseason, I would fire Reese. Now, if this decision is – because to me it is seeming like coming more and more, maybe it wasn't McAdoo. And if there's enough evidence to suggest maybe McAdoo wasn't involved in this, maybe McAdoo stays, depending on –
Oh, no.
McAdoo's out. McAdoo has a 0% chance of being retained.
Probably. But then in that case – okay, I'll take that back. But then in that case, you got to get both of them out of there.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Either one of them goes or none of them go. Either both of them go or none of them go.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. If the 2 of them stay, there's going to be a riot.
The problem is if they stay, nothing is going to change.
Well, yes, they're going to go out
Absolutely
and
nothing.
they're going to go out. Wait a minute. They're going to go out and spend their budget on ridiculous players they don't need and not a quarterback.
Well,
and then people are going to complain that they're in the same situation, saying they don't have a quarterback.
Well, not just that, but I mean, maybe some things would just change if just Jerry Reese was fired. Because as I just said, I think Jerry Reese is mostly the poison of this team now. It's starting to unravel a little bit. It seems that way. I'm just saying it seems that way. Maybe it is still both. But if both of them go, but Nick, let me just get to the point. I said to Nick, time to take some alcohol, get a match, burn this offense to the ground. No one has earned anything next year. You're starting the slate clean, not even Odell. Everyone has to earn their spot once again. You want to play, you come to OTAs, you come to off-season practices, come to preseason, and
you come with something to fucking prove.
What?
You come with something to fucking prove.
And you got to have rules. You need to have rules in place. If you do something stupid, you get suspended or you get fined, and you let them know that they did something stupid.
It's time to light some fire under some asses, basically.
This is like I said, it's staggering to me, the incompetence that this organization has shown on the field and off the field from the word fucking go. They have not been able to get out of their own way, to stop from tripping over their own dicks. And you know what? Some of this is chance, but a lot of it is self-inflicted. And that is the hallmark of a poorly run organization. We were blind to see it, but now our eyes are opened. So you know what? The only thing that's left in this case to talk about, I think, what happens to Eli Manning now? Is this the last we see of him in a Giants uniform?
I think before
will we see him again?
I think before we go into that, I think, Nick, should we take a look at some of what sports media, especially New York, has had to say regarding this situation?
Oh, my God. So where do you want to go first? You want to talk first take, or you want to go first things first? What idiocy do you want to hear first?
Well, do you want to start with something, decent that we can agree with, or do you want to start with something shit?
Let's hear first take first.
Okay.
I heard that one's a little more legitimate than first things
I was
first.
going to say, Nick.
Let's slope upward and then go downward.
Right. Nick, Fodera, as I mentioned before we went on the air, you were saying something about, wow, Max Kellerman, I should apologize because I just stopped it at the wrong time. That was things out of context. So let me put everything into context. So let us begin with first take. First up, we have from First Take, Max Kellerman.
Your roster when you're hopelessly out of it and you have an aging, declining quarterback. To take a look at other guys. And the Giants, in fact, handled that the right way because they came to Eli and said, you still start, keep the streak going, but we want to take a look at other guys. And because Eli is such a mensch, such a stand-up guy, so honorable, he's like, no, we're not going to do that. For that, I'm going to sit down. And that's what created the uproar. But is it the right move to play Geno Smith? I mean, it's nice that the Giants, the last franchise to start an African-American quarterback, are finally doing it. That's nice. But Geno Smith is the guy you start when you don't have a franchise quarterback. But the Giants do have a franchise quarterback, and the only reason to take a look would be because you want to see what you got in Davis Webb, who you drafted in the 3rd round, who's a good college player, who you hope may have a future. You want to see if you want to use your high first-round draft pick this year on a quarterback. So you check Davis Webb out. And if you say, well, we don't want to get him killed behind a bad offensive line, so we'll use Geno Smith as a tackling dummy for a while, well, for that, just stick Eli Manning there. Why make the change? So no.
So that was Max Kellerman. Do you guys want to go right into Stephen A?
Well, that makes perfect sense, by the way, what Max just said, that they're trying to jump from Eli to shit, basically. And they're using Geno Smith as a tackling dummy, I think he said.
Yeah.
So
behind a terrible offensive line.
On a terrible offensive line, which we all said before. So we're all echoing what Max is basically.
Well, not just that, but
Geno,
I
really?
mentioned before, and Nick, you as a Jets fan would know this better than anybody else. If Geno got creamed on a team that had an offensive line, what's going to happen here?
He's going to get destroyed. He's going to get absolutely demolished, destroyed. He might get injured because of the slow count that he has coming out of the pocket. So
The slow snap count.
Snap count, thank you. And because of his slow snap count, and because he holds the ball for so long, imagine when he was with the Jets when they had the big offensive line. The Giants have nothing. He's going to get sacked like 10 to 15 times a game at that point.
I would get then if he gets angry, then if he gets injured, he should get angry at the organization for
unless it's a fan punching him in the face.
It wasn't a fan. It was his teammate.
I know. I know.
I don't know. But
at this point, it might actually be Wellington Mara's ghost coming back to punch him in the face.
Wow.
take that.
I was going to say, it'd be more likely a fan than a teammate in the Giants organization, unless there's another locker room blow-up.
Hey, my team sucks. Well, I'm going to come back from the dead. I'm going to punch out Geno Smith because I don't like him.
How is it a locker room blow-up? How would it be any different than what it is right now?
Fair point.
No difference.
Well, if there's a locker room blow-up, it would be because Geno Smith probably owes somebody money like he did to the Jets.
Someone would go up to him, punch him in the face, bitch better have my money.
Bitch better have my money, fool.
He really is in an unenviable situation. He really is.
All right, boys, so do you want to hear good old Stephen A?
Well, it's better than what we're going to hear after it, so go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
It's a disastrous move. It's a wrong move all the way around, and there are no ifs, ands, or buts surrounding it. I don't want to hear those qualifiers. This is a disgrace. Ben McAdoo, enjoy your time in New York City. It will be over by the end of December. You need to go. New York doesn't want you. Goodbye. You stink. You did an awful job this year. The team turned against you. They quit on you. You've demoralized the franchise. You've embarrassed them. You got to go, and I'm here to say I'm sorry to say it, but Jerry Reese, you should go too. After a move like this is an abomination, okay? Excuse me, Tish and the Mara family, you should be ashamed of yourself to do this to this man. Let's be clear about this here. Eli Manning, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. All of a sudden, he's aged in dog years and can't get it done. Oh, I'm sorry. Can somebody tell me one quarterback that can be successful? No wide receivers, no running game, no offensive line. Who is the quarterback who can produce under those circumstances? Aaron Rodgers.
And Max Kellerman would go on to say Aaron Rodgers, and Stephen A would say, fuck no.
Well, the way that is gone, the way that was said, that was well said, believe it or not. And I don't see it.
Very good. Very good, Stephen A.
Yeah, I don't say that Stephen A is well-spoken most of the time, but that time he actually was because he was making a legitimate point.
I actually would go on to say, I actually would feel First Take handled the situation the best out of everybody in sports media. I think they had the best points.
Oh, God. And you haven't heard
if that
anything
ain't a sign of the apocalypse.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well,
why? What do you know? What are you hiding?
Let's just, let's get this shit over with. Let's go to that shitty Fox Sports show. And no, I'm not talking about Undisputed.
Well, that show's shit also, but it's not as bad as First Things First.
First Things First with Chris Carter and some guy I never heard of until today, who is I essentially call Skip Bayless Jr.
You're talking about Nick Wright, who's basically become Skip Bayless Jr., which is perfect because they're both doing the same type of show. Now, the context of
Sports media in 2017, people.
Yeah, really. So the context of this conversation before I play the audio was that Nick Wright basically thinks that Eli might be partially at fault for this situation, which I'm finding hard to believe. And
that's some good taking right there. By good, I mean completely misguided.
So let's take a listen to Nick Wright and his preposterous bullshit.
So badly for Eli. I'm an emotional guy. I am an emotional parent. I react poorly to seeing people deal with things that are hard for them. So I watched that impromptu press conference and I saw Eli holding back tears and I empathized with him. In that moment, didn't matter how rich he was, didn't matter how famous he was. That was the lowest moment, I would imagine, of his professional career. And he had to respond to that moment by going in front of a bunch of somewhat strangers and answering questions for the world. In that moment, I felt badly for him. With all that said, this is the right move for the Giants. This is the right move for their future. This is the right move for their fans. This is the best thing they can do to give themselves the best chance to add a 5th Super Bowl ring. So maybe the way in which they did it could have been handled better. Maybe don't make it to where Eli, moments after he finds out, has to answer questions. Maybe there's a gentler way to go about it. But what the Giants know is next year is the first year they can easily get rid of Eli and not have it ruin their cap. What the Giants know is, for the first time since Eli's been there, they're staring at a top 5 pick. What the Giants know is, over the last 5 years, no player in the league has thrown more interceptions than Eli Manning. And they have 2 quarterbacks on that roster. One is Geno Smith, that I know we all believe is terrible, but they have him cheaply, and they want to know, can he at least be a serviceable backup? They also have a guy they like enough in Davis Webb that they spent a 3rd-round pick on him. They need to get him out there sooner than later to find out, Davis, are you good enough to where when we do have this top 5 pick, we don't take a quarterback? So it might have been uncomfortable. It might have been un-Giants-like, but I've seen teams in this sport and other sports try to do right by their player.
So my point on this issue is, what the fuck is Nick Wright saying in this situation?
It's just a bunch of bullshit coming out of his mouth.
He's the human equivalent of a fart.
So if I can
He's
kind
a
of
sentient fart.
if I can kind of wait a minute, hold up. If I can kind of figure out what Nick Wright said, basically he's like, I'm an emotional parent who thinks that Eli Manning's a 5-year-old kid and I have to comfort him, but at the same time, it is the right situation because we need to, if taking him out, we're going to win our 5th Super Bowl ring. What the fuck are you saying?
At that point, I was involuntarily retching. I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
And once again, because if we're talking about the Geno Davis Webb thing, because he mentioned Davis Webb as the 3rd-round pick last year, and Geno Smith as well. Geno Smith. Then why are we not focusing on Webb? Why are we wasting our time on a quarterback that's already been proven to be nothing? And if he can't do anything with that Jets team, what's he going to do with the Giants? Our local NBC affiliate here actually produced a nice little tidbit. I told you guys yesterday that I think over the last 4 years' worth of games that Geno Smith has played, he's only won 12 games.
I don't know what to tell you, but
and let's look. Let's not act as if Davis Webb can walk on water either. He's a 3rd-round pick. Okay, what exactly are you expecting out of him? All right, we wouldn't be talking about drafting possibly a quarterback, meaning Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen out of UCLA in the draft if Davis Webb truly was the future, the honest-to-God future. He is not. So let's not pretend that he is some kind of great shakes. I'll believe it when the fuck I see it.
Well, then give him the chance to prove it then. Why are we wasting our time with Geno?
Well, apparently there's a quote that just came out from Ian Rappaport. from Ben McAdoo that said, quote, "We want to take a look at Geno before we go to our number 3 in Davis Webb." That's directly quoted from Ben McAdoo.
This is my opinion to McAdoo for that quote.
Hey, you should play the sound effect now since it worked.
What? Oh, that's right. I completely forgot.
It was at that moment that McAdoo knew he fucked up.
He fucked up. Right there. Remember what I was just saying before, like thinking, oh, maybe McAdoo has, maybe he doesn't have, he's not as guilty involved in this situation. Oh, wait a minute. He's going to start Geno over a freaking, what's his name, Davis Webb. Yeah, your reputation. Anything that you just tried to gain back is gone again.
But
that's the sound of your credibility jumping off a cliff.
Yeah.
Here's another interesting tweet that I found this morning. It's from 8 hours ago, from David Deal. And we all remember David Deal, right?
Indeedy.
Okay. So he does a show with Bob Papa on Sirius XM. They do the morning show, I think, for Sirius XM NFL.
Right.
So here's the tweet. At Bob Papa NFL and I just took a break from our radio show to grab a coffee to see only 2 Giants players in the cafeteria. It was Eli Manning sitting next to Davis Webb mentoring him.
Look at that. Look at that. Do I even need to say anything?
So that I just thought that was a very interesting tweet that David Deal put out.
I don't think I need to say anything. I shouldn't have to say anything. But look, Eli is trying to help as much as possible, and he's helping the young blood, the true young blood. I get it. Geno Smith is only 27, but he's already had his chances.
We've seen that the emperor wears no pants.
By the way, apparently Ben McAdoo just addressed the media. So I don't know if we want to go to that. Maybe we can, after we're done here, we'll cut some audio up and we can give some opinions on that afterwards.
Okay.
But I'm not too sure what's going on. But as we just heard from that audio piece, it was at that moment that we knew McAdoo fucked up. So
it was at that moment that McAdoo knew he fucked up.
So yeah, basically that's where we're at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So, do we want to go to a couple of the really funny, really good tirades that some of our media brethren have went on?
So basically, Michael Kay goes on a rant saying the Giants ownership is disrespectful, and why are you benching Eli? He got you the 2 championships, like everybody else is saying. Basically, they're all regurgitating the same thing.
Right, but Michael Kay was going off really bad. And he, as I mentioned before, he does mention Odell and basically suggests, combine Odell's the fact that they did nothing to, discipline him for the urinating dog touchdown celebration.
Oh, right. Like I said.
And then the Rogers Cromartie situation. And then
Denoris Jenkins
situation. Eli Apple almost quitting on a team and almost walking out. Basically, McAdoo has lost control of this team, and yet we're blaming it all on Eli.
Well, I don't know what to tell you there, why he didn't discipline these players. But if this was Bill Belichick, or if this was, I'm trying to think what are the coaches around the league, McCarthy, or if any of those players did that on teams, the Packers or the Patriots, they would have been suspended or benched.
I was going to say, I guarantee I could name a few NFL coaches who would do something like that, and you mentioned 2 of them. Parcells would probably too.
Well, yeah, you could go all the way back to what's his name, the old Pittsburgh coach, who's on CBS.
Oh,
Cower.
Coach Cower.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those guys. You could mention a whole round of people. If you did that to any of those coaches, you would have been either suspended or benched or fined or all 3.
And this is just... And Mike Francesca from WFAN got hot, too.
Well, and we would need a whole show's worth to talk about that. That was an 8-minute like firestorm that he almost blew the WFAN roof off of.
Yeah, I've got maybe about 30 seconds worth of audio.
Oh, play this, because this was the best part of the whole interview. Play that.
Sounds like he might dress Webb and Smith, and he said Smith will play. Webb will play down the line. So what he told you was a little different than the way it was reported to us before. The way it was reported to us before was that Smith and Webb would both play this week. That is not true. What we learned this week is that he went to Eli with a plan where Eli was going to play the first half or a part of the first half. We don't know exactly the first half. And then Geno Smith was going to come in the game. But he also told you that Geno Smith gave him the best chance to win this week. Geno Smith, who we know well. Now, Geno Smith is not a running quarterback. Is he more mobile than Eli? Well, a tree is. Okay, we understand that. That is not Eli's strength. And because of the fact that Jerry Reese did such a lousy job, so he okayed this too, because now these guys whose careers are, McAdoo's career is worthless. Jerry Reese's career is built on Eli Manning. His success in those two games is the only reason that Jerry Reese has got a career. He doesn't have a career because of what he's drafted here. He's got a career because he won 2 Super Bowls, won by Eli Manning, who went on the road and won all those playoff games, and who won the Super Bowl MVP twice.
All right, so that was a little longer than expected, but you know what? Fuck it. It was worth it.
That point is so well taken, and you guys both know I'm one of the biggest Francesa haters in all of New York. But the one point I don't agree with him in that whole rant was that, first of all, he might be right that a tree is more mobile than Eli Manning, but he's basically saying that Geno can be more mobile than Eli. Now, being a Jet fan and seeing him, he couldn't get out of the fucking pocket. You're telling me he's more mobile than Eli? At least Eli could get out of the pocket and avoid a sack. We saw it in the Super Bowl against the Patriots when he was almost grabbed down by Jersey and he managed to get the ball down the field.
Exactly, but still, that's just splitting hairs.
But I'm just making the point that he's right from the standpoint of that we need to change this. We need to leave Eli in, and I think the Giants situation is fucked up. And
I think
way around it.
I think he's right when he's saying that, that basically they're looking at Geno Smith and they have, you get what I mean? It's like Geno Smith, they have more confidence in this week than either Eli Manning or Davis Webb. And let's think about this, boys. Let's put this into perspective. If at the beginning of this season, you told me Eli Manning would be playing backup to Geno Smith, I would laugh in your face, call you not a football fan, and just ignore anything else you said. Your credibility would be zero in my eyes. And look where we are now.
I would have called you a liar, a filthy, filthy, filthy liar. But we find ourselves, we've crossed the Rubicon here. We've become the Jets, and we are dangerously, dangerously close to displaying the organizational incompetence that so defines the Knicks under Jim Dolan, and never gets to that point. But you know what? The fact that situation seems depressingly plausible as we sit here and record this is a reminder. It is a reminder of how far this organization has fallen in the span of one season. One season. It's not even a full season yet because their season ended in January last year.
So
a full season has not elapsed yet, and already we're waiting. We're waiting to burn the motherfucker down.
I just read something very interesting about Eli Manning's character. So this is from Ian O'Connor. He's a writer for ESPN. And I thought this is very interesting because a lot of people are saying that Eli Manning's character is one of the best when it comes to class and respect. So this is an interesting, quick story that Ian O'Connor told. On an off-season night, when a two-time Super Bowl MVP likely had dozens of alternative places to be, Eli Manning waited on a long line to attend a wake for Rita Kennelly, wife of team trainer Steve and young sister. Eli was among more than 1,000 people to pay their respects that night, many of them Giants officials from John Mara on down. But Eli was one of only 2 current players in attendance and the only starter. We often lionize athletes for simple acts of common decency, so the point here isn't to make Eli's appearance at the wake something it was not. The point is to show just how much Eli Manning understood and embraced all the responsibilities of being the quarterback of the New York Giants, and to shed a little more light on why he cried and when that job was taken away. Now, I have the direct quote from when he was on SNY. Do we want to hear what he said?
Wait, who?
This is directly from Eli when he.
Okay. Yeah, let's play it.
Eli, how hard is this hitting you emotionally?
It's hard. It's a hard day to handle this, but hang in there and figure it out.
Is it hard to stay as a Giant?
It's up there. Yeah. Do you feel like you might have started your last game for the Giants? I don't know. I'll take one week at a time. Last one, guys. Have you spoken to anyone besides Ben about the decision, Jerry or John or anyone like that? I spoke to Jerry Reese a little bit, and Mr. Mara he hadn't been in today, but he knows what's going on, and try to speak with him tomorrow sometime.
So I just thought that was interesting too, that he spoke to Jerry Reese, but he didn't speak to the owners of the team. So does that kind of give you a little insight of maybe who made the final decision?
I don't know, man. And you could hear the hurt. You could see and hear the hurt in his eyes and voices.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand the whole situation.
I don't get it. And boys, until this season is over, I probably will never wear another piece of Giants, a shirt or jersey or anything like that for the rest of the year. And honestly, now that it seems like maybe the Maras made the choice, maybe Maras Reese, I don't know if I can bring myself to watch any more Giants football this season.
I'm already done. I'm already done with this team, and that is the real tragedy of it. That you could not get me to give a shit about this team.
I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. Like, are they doing this as a sign of power? Like, I don't really know.
You know what? No. You know what they've given themselves? What I like to call the public relations nightmare.
Oh yeah, they've already done that.
It's funny, and it's like you said, Nick Fodera. One season, not even a season, this has happened. Last year we were 11-5, and we made it to the playoffs for the first time in like 4 years. And now look where we are.
I don't know. I mean, just the way this whole situation has been, it's a fuckery, as Nick would say.
We are on the level of the Cleveland Browns and the San Francisco 49ers. What does that say? And the Denver Broncos.
It says, pack up your shit, folks. We are done. We are done this season. When do pitchers and catchers report? That's what that says.
Yeah, pretty much. But let's go to, Around the Horn is coming up, so I do want to hear their opinions, and pardon the interruption. So let's get to our final points of the day. Nick, let's go to what you wanted to talk about. What's next for Eli Manning?
What does this mean for Eli? Is he done? I mean,
no. I refuse to accept that this can be the end. I mean, what's his name? His brother Peyton refused to accept that neck injury as the end. Instead, he went to Denver
and won a fucking Super Bowl.
It's going to be interesting to see where if and when he goes, if he decides to play somewhere else. Now, what people don't realize in this contract that he signed with the Giants, he actually has a no trade clause in his contract.
Oh, if he says he's going to play again, I guarantee you that will be waived faster than Sonic the Hedgehog can.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that if they try to trade him, he has some control in that aspect.
Oh, that's true. And I will, if any of you have, as part of Cheat Seed Sports, I have made a very clever video talking about the media, all their statements, and just this whole debacle. I just showed it to Nick and Nick before. And basically, during part of that, Mike Francesca and another fan were talking, and I want to say maybe Tony Kornheiser said it too, that I'm in their group, and I refuse to believe that Eli is done. I think he will play for maybe 1 or 2 more years just to try and stick it to the Maras and stick it to Reese and say, you didn't have any faith. Well, look at this.
It's going to be thorny biblical vengeance.
And I will name, and I forget who said it, but I will agree with them and name 2 places that he can go. Number 1, the most obvious, Jacksonville. Because let's look at their team. They have a great defensive unit. A defensive unit that's taking them to the playoffs, possibly. And look at who their quarterback is, Blake Bortles. What the fuck is a Blake Bortles?
Nothing.
You sure that's not actually some kind of weird foreign topical cream? Because I could have sworn that's what it was. I could have swore I saw a bottle of that. My brother bought a bottle of that back from Aruba.
You know what?
A bottle of Blake Bortles? That's cool.
You know what? I'd rather have a masturbating orangutan than Blake Bortles as a starting quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You are never going to let that go.
No, I'm not, because you made it famous, and now I'm going to shit all over you for it.
But basically, and let's consider this.
Thanks for the mental image. Think about that and try to sleep tonight, folks.
Go ahead, Tom.
And look who's in Jacksonville. Oh, who's in that front office?
Oh, wait, is it Tom Coughlin?
Is it the man, you know how we have in baseball, he's Derek Jeter to Joe Torre, Eli Manning to Tom Coughlin. Tom
That's right.
Tom was heartbroken when he heard the news.
How ironic would it be to have Eli and Tom Coughlin back together?
That'd be
Old
great.
man Coughlin is pissed, and he is drunk on sarsaparilla.
It'd be great to see that kind of reunion. And number 2, the only other place that I can think of that would possibly take Eli. Let's think about this. He's a Manning. He's in a Manning that's in a bad situation. A Manning with leaving a team you never thought he would leave, filled with tears. Is there a team that a certain other Manning went to fix a shitty quarterback situation, ended up winning a Super Bowl? Oh, I wonder who that team is.
I guess you're talking about the Broncos, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
A lot of weed there, right?
Jacksonville and Denver. If he plays again, which I think he should, he's going to be in Jacksonville or he's going to be in Denver.
I don't think he's going to go to Denver, though.
I don't think so because of Tom Coughlin in Jacksonville, but I guarantee you Jacksonville front office and Denver's front office will be in a fight.
Watch him go to the Jets.
Oh, God.
He wouldn't bring himself to that.
Well, the Jets are technically have an O-line, at least.
They have a better team.
Actually, I think the O-line would actually keep Eli from getting sacked. The Jets.
Stop making me think these thoughts.
And also, you have, what's his name, Skinner, who caught 2 touchdowns in a game for the last 3 games now.
Oh, my God, stop. I don't want to think about that.
That is the urine shower to put out the tire flyer.
You mean like Brett Favre going to New York?
Yeah. At this point.
I didn't have a problem with that. The problem with that is he took his penis with him.
Who knows? Maybe he's a masturbating orangutan.
Please, masturbating orangutans have more dignity than that.
Oh, God.
So I think we can best conclude, if we have to list an order, if we really want to put the Jets in there, but they'd be like a 3, it seems like we're in a consensus that if Eli is going to play another season, which I personally think he should, he's going to be in Jacksonville.
Wait a minute. You said you read the statement from Tom Rock, right?
From Tom.
Because Rich Eisen just tweeted out something from Tom Rock.
No, from Newsday. The Newsday quote. Yeah, that was the Mara quote.
The one about where he said, I had some pause?
What?
Yeah, there's a statement that just came, that Rich Eisen just tweeted out. Let me make sure that when this statement came out from Tom Rock. 1 second. Let's see. So 54 minutes ago from Tom Rock. So essentially, John Mara's take is that Eli Manning benched himself.
What? Let me see this. Give me the tweet.
That's the tweet. I'm reading it to you.
Oh, no, give me it. This is one of those tweets that I refuse to hear it. I want to see it. So
I just retweeted it. Go to the Undetermined Twitter account. If you guys are wondering, at the UD Network, I just put out what Tom Rock said 54 minutes ago. I'll read it again so people can hear it. So basically, Tom Rock is saying, so essentially John Mara's take is that Eli Manning benched himself. That's what he said. I'm trying to read a little more here to see what I can find.
God. You know what? He deserves empty stadiums from now until the end of time.
Here's another tweet.
I don't believe it.
Here's another tweet from Tom Rock, and this is from John Mara. One of the things we have to do is figure out if one of these two guys can be a quarterback going forward.
So this all confirms it. It's not McAdoo. It's not Reese. It's ownership.
It's ownership, basically, yeah.
Fucking sell a team. Fucking sell a team, then.
Oh, so now you're in the Jim Dolan point of view in New York. It seems like it's contagious.
I have no words.
This is just the shittiest of shit shows.
All right, wait a minute. I'm going to read you one more statement, and please don't throw anything. So this is also from Tom Rock from Newsday, according to John Mara. Make sure I have the right one here. It's a major decision for this franchise with a beloved figure. People are not going to like it.
All together now, everybody, all three of us. Ready? 1, 2, 3. No shit!
No shit!
No shit!
Here's another one from John Mara, and please don't throw anything. Eli has much respect from our fans, so much love and affection for him. If you had so much love and affection for him, why did you bench the guy?
3, 2, 1.
No shit!
Oh, wait. You ready for a few others? You're going to laugh at this.
No, I'm not ready for a few others.
So John Mara asked if Eli will play in the NFL next year. Here's what John Mara said. I think so.
He's going to kick your ass.
You ready for another one?
Wait. I want to see something first of all. Let me look this up. So the Giants play the AFC West this year, correct?
Correct.
So Jacksonville is in the AFC South.
Yes.
Are they going to play in the AFC South over the next 2 years?
Probably yes.
I know there's a specific rotation that they do for the scheduling.
I don't know 100% what the answer to that is, but let me read you this last thing because you're going to blow a shit when I tell you what it says.
Well, first of all, I want to figure this out too because...
But let me get through it.
He's already there to blow in shit territory. He's already shit blower.
Well, so this is John Mara on the Giants tanking.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, because I just got... Yes, 2018 regular season, they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars at MetLife. He is going to come into MetLife. He is going to kick your ass. And he's going to make you regret it that you ever cut him.
All right, so these next two are going to really make you pissed off, but I'm going to read them anyway. So John Mara on the Giants tanking. This is according to Tom Rock. This is a quote from John Mara, the Giants owner. That's complete bullshit. We would never do that.
So here's you just entered the no-win territory again, because it's like if you don't tank, oh well, there goes your chances at Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold.
This guy's a fucking dope.
Congratulations. And then on the other hand, your team isn't good. The fans don't care. Most of the players have quit on the coach and general manager.
Open your fucking eyes!
You ready for more? Because it's about to get worse.
No, I'm not ready for more.
So John Mara was asked about Ben McAdoo. And this is what John Mara said. We're 2-9, okay? I'm embarrassed about that. Nobody is doing a good job.
I'm embarrassed to be a fan of your team right now.
One more for our loyal listeners. 1, 2, 3.
No
shit!
All right, I got a few more if I haven't pissed you off already.
I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. I don't want to hear any more. I'm embarrassed to be a Giants fan right now.
Well, I'm going to read it anyway because I like seeing you get mad because it's good. It's good podcast audio. So, according to John Mara, I thanked him for handling this in a classy manner. Who knows what the future is going to bring?
Classy?
He could get into the game on Sunday. You just don't know.
If he gets into the game,
I'll tell you what I do know, pal. You're going to get empty seats, and you're going. You know what? You're going to take the fucking hit. You're going to take the financial hit.
You what I think they should do? You know what? Any Giants fans who are going to the game, you know what they should do? And this is a classic sports argument. Stand up when the cameras are coming up. Stand up. Back to the camera.
Oh shit!
Don't look, because the cameras are going to go into the stands at some points. They're going to have to mention that if that happens.
You ready for the most confusing reaction by John Mara?
No. What else? What's worse?
I wish I could have been there when this was all going down. I did not expect Eli to react by not saying go ahead and start the other guys. That took me by surprise.
Thanks a lot, Charles de Gaulle.
I'm done. Fuck this franchise. I'm done.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but he also goes on to say, I have so much respect for Eli, I would take his desires into consideration this offseason.
But what he's actually saying is, fuck his desires, we're doing it my way.
I'm just going to say this, Nick. I'm glad our dads are Vikings fans. Because I will be rooting for the Vikings until something smart actually happens to the Giants.
My dad, for all his Vikings fandom, he watches the Giants enthusiastically. And when they won the Super Bowl in 2007, when they won in 2008, I should say.
You know what
my brother was so excited, he tackled my father and hugged him so tight. You thought my father was going to break a rib, and he was right there with us, Vikings fan or not. And you know what? The fact that we are here today is a shame.
It's a bad situation. I'll read you a few more things, and then we can wrap up. Basically, John Mara came out and said there's no completely clean way to handle it. Well, that's a laugher. He also came out and said, Eli's not only a special player, but a special person. To see him get emotional is difficult. Well, if you thought seeing him be emotional is difficult, why did you bench him?
Honestly, you know what? I don't want to. I don't know.
I got nothing.
I have no words anymore. So you know what? I'm just going to do something. How many tweets did you read off, Morgasen?
Probably at least 7 or 8.
Okay, so you know what? In honor of that, in honor of Giants ownership and Giants being show sit, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the wrong buzzer 7 or 8 times just to make up for it.
1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Damn.
Wrong. And what's that quote from Superman?
Wrong.
Whoa. I just found something that might be the king of the crop here.
Oh, God, stop it.
You know how we were talking about who initiated the conversation?
Oh, no. No.
This is from John Mara.
I think this is appropriate to end the podcast on, by the way, but still, fuck no.
So this is from John Mara, quoted from Tom Rock, who's a Giants reporter for Newsday. John Mara said, I initiated the conversation with Reese to get a look at other quarterbacks.
So that's it. There's our confirmation. There's our fucking confirmation.
The mystery hath been solved,
I feel
Sherlock.
like this whole podcast was a mystery. I feel like we were in a Scooby-Doo film or something like that. I feel like we were in Clue. We were playing the actual board game of Clue.
At least with Scooby-Doo, there's a satisfying fucking revelation. There's a satisfying resolution to the story.
That's why
there is not to be found here.
That's why I changed it. I said, this is Clue. This is who murdered Eli Manning's streak and who ruined the reputation and all the fans' hopes and everything. It was the ownership of Mara and Tisch with, I guess at this point we can say, a crowbar at MetLife Stadium.
By the way, if people were not pissed off again already, John Mara on if McAdoo is safe for the rest of the year, basically there are no guarantees in life. That was the answer.
Well, they've already come out and said, oh, he's safe. They've already said that.
But the answer was there are no guarantees in life. That was the answer. Are you kidding me?
So you know what? I'm just going to also give 7 or 8 good old losing horns.
Uh-oh.
Now, there's a reason I do that, because you hear the sound over and over again. That is my hope, my love for the Giants, my big heart, and it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks.
It swirls and swirls and swirls downward like a turd in a toilet.
Oh, God. Here's another interesting...
oh, God. And not even a golden toilet. Not even a golden toilet.
So this is from Art Stapleton. He's a New York Giants and an NFL writer for The Record Sports. And I just thought this was interesting. So this was John Mara. John Mara would not say Eli Manning's time as quarterback of the Giants is over. He basically went on to say, quote, I don't think you should be writing his obituary just yet.
That's not the point. The point is how you've handled this situation. And you have handled it with the greatest of shit. It is the point that Jerry Reese has been so terrible at drafting that you are in this shit. It is the point where McAdoo has been on a witch hunt against Eli Manning despite everything going wrong against this team.
I thought this is very telling right here. So John Mara met with Eli Manning in his office this morning, and the two shared an, quote, emotional visit. Mara said his hope had been Eli would continue starting, plus playing, but Giants would get look at Smith and Webb. He was caught off guard by Eli's decision to decline that plan. That's all from Art Stapleton, and that was what apparently John Mara thought was going to happen.
Here's what I know. But is he mad about it? Is he sad about it? Because if he's sad or mad, it's like, no, this is him being a gentleman and letting the future take over. If you can even call Geno Smith future.
I really don't know what to tell you. I'm looking around to see what all the different Giant reporters.
We don't even need to say anything else. We don't need to say anything else. I'm done. I'm never watching a Giants game.
I'm done. I
may not do it. After this whole football season, I may not watch football for the rest of this year. I'm done. I mean, that's a lie. Maybe the Vikings are giving me a little hope, but I don't know.
Who cares at this point?
At this point, I would there are 1,000 other things I would do than watch New York Giants football.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm just reading what everyone is saying.
I'm not shooting the messenger. I'm saying fuck him.
No, you're right. I totally agree with what you're saying, but these are rough statements now that he's coming out to the media and admitting it.
This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking as a Giants fan.
I don't.
It feels like when the Matt Lauer situation broke earlier today. One of my old teachers, who I'm friends with on Facebook, posted something like "A2 Matt Brute," because it's like, you know, it's like betrayal, because it's like, oh my God, these people that we're looking up to and they're falling to, you know, all this going on in the world today, and now here. I feel so betrayed. It's like A2 Tishimara. It's like I feel betrayed.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I just found something ridiculous. This is from Ralph Vacchiano. He's the NFL insider for SNY. And this is a minute ago. This is
breaking?
John Mara on Eli Manning. This is a minute ago. I think he can still win in the NFL, yes. I hope that it's with us. But that'll be a discussion for the off season.
Wait, so you're talking? Wait, time out. That was 2 minutes ago now. 2 minutes ago. I know, but let's time here. So you're talking about having a look at the future and possibly drafting another quarterback, but so in other words, you just want him on the fucking bench. So that means you would rather have fucking Geno Smith over fucking Eli Manning. You fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck McAdoo. Fuck Reese. Fuck this franchise. I'm done.
I just retweeted that at the UD Network. If you guys want to check that out, you can.
No more, Morganson.
No. I'm just saying you can go check that out. I just put that up so you can see.
I can't.
We gotta. Yeah, this is fucking comical. It is. This organization is fucking clown shoes. It is. I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it.
I'm going to watch Around the Horn to make myself laugh, because I guarantee you they're going to have a field day about this.
I'm looking at all the beat writers just to see that basically a lot of them are saying the same thing, but they're breaking a lot of news here, which is just crazy. The owner would come out and say all this shit.
Not even 24 hours after this shit originally broke.
I mean... I don't know, man. I mean, this is the ownership showing its true colors here.
I can't.
I got nothing left.
I have nothing left either, except I just said before, you know, I would never wear another piece of Giants clothing for the rest of the year. Honestly, I feel like now just wearing my Eli jersey every day now. Just to show support for that.
You want to hear from Ben McAdoo? I just found some audio.
No, I don't want to fucking hear from fucking Ben McAdoo. You can take that audio and shove it.
Well, apparently this is Ben McAdoo on Eli Manning's attitude. If you want to hear it,
Eli Manning's attitude?
I think he means from the standpoint of handling it.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I haven't heard it yet.
Okay. Well, quickly play it, because at this point, if you play that, we might as well also listen to Around the Horn as it happens live in here.
All right, so I'll play it. You guys tell me what you think.
Okay.
He's a pro. He's a Hall of Famer, tremendous teammate and competitor. And he showed up today doing everything he can do to help the other quarterbacks and the offense and the team get better and have a chance to win on Sunday.
So I just thought that he basically said that Ben McAdoo came out and
said, you and your Lego brick hair.
Oh, Nick, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. No shit!
Well,
is this some New York Giants PR in a nutshell? No shit.
Yeah, I think so. That's where they're heading at this point.
I guess. So you know what? Around the Horn is starting. Let me see if the first thing they're going to talk about is Eli. If that's the case, we'll listen to the Around the Horn segment.
Not to burst your bubble or anything, but according to the New York Post and TMZ, Eli Manning has already been offered a CBS TV position.
I mean, at this point,
better.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I want him to go to Jacksonville or Denver, but at this point, I would rather him retire than be on a bench.
I don't know what to tell you, but here's something funny from Paul Schwartz. He put out some numbers, over-unders, for Geno Smith this week.
Oh, no.
And so total passing yards in week 13. So over-under is 185.5. Over or under?
Over what?
Over under 185.5 passing yards.
Under.
Nick?
I'm going to go over. Slightly over.
All right.
I'm going slightly under.
Geno Smith, total touchdown passes in week 13. Now, this is an over-under for, they have a half. So not even a touchdown. So the odds are 5-9 in favor of over a half a touchdown, or under a half a touchdown is 7-5.
I'll give credit where credit's due. I'll say 1, only because they are playing the AFC West. They are playing the Raiders. The AFC West that we have come to a consensus last week or 2 weeks ago sucks.
Nick? Over under a half touchdown.
Under.
You don't think he's going to get 1 touchdown at all?
That's what you're saying.
And rushing touchdowns don't count, correct?
No, this is touchdown passes.
So they don't count. So he has to pass the ball.
Got to throw it.
You know what the pit of misery in those Bud Light commercials? You think you could toss me in there until the Giants season is over?
Dilly.
All right, I got one more. Geno Smith, total interceptions week 13, over under 1.
Over.
Very, very over.
Yeah, because according to these are from Bovada odds. The over is minus 150, and the under is plus 110. So, yes, your odds are in favor of more than 1.
Oh, God.
And the last one, will Eli Manning be the starting quarterback of the Giants for Game 1 of the 2018 regular season? Yes, plus 150 at 3-2 odds, or no at minus 200, 1-2 odds.
I want to say no, but what's his contract situation again? Please remind me of that.
I think he's got another year or 2, I think.
Well,
with the no trade clause.
With the no but now he could easily waive that. After how this situation has been, after the tears have been rolled down his face, he could easily waive that. And he could reunite with his coach in Jacksonville.
But he's not going to let the money go.
But he is under a big deal. I don't know. The problem is they're looking at other quarterbacks. So it's like, you know what this is? I'm just going to take Yoda's words. Do or do not. Either Eli is going to be your quarterback or he's not going to be your quarterback. And I can't tell what you're doing because you're like, oh, we need to have a look at these guys. Oh, but we hope that he's with us. So you want to degrade him to the bench. And I know Eli hasn't been good. Hasn't been, superstar worthy in this last couple of seasons. But it's not all his fault. We've had defensive problems, and now this season everybody has just flat out collapsed.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. He's not going to be the Giants starter next year.
I hope he is, but I'm preparing for the day that he's not.
I try to be an optimist, but today has left me in complete pessimism with this ownership, general manager, and coach. So,
now, if you want me to sink the ship completely, which I'm about to do. So Giants cornerback Janoris Jenkins is having ankle surgery today and is on IR.
I don't have any care. I don't have any care.
It's the icing on the shit Sunday. It really is.
I have no care whatsoever. I cannot care.
But I think we need to give everybody a break. Yeah. I think just giving you a taste of the action of the Giants situation.
Okay, so we want to cut it here then?
I think it's time. I think you need to go cool off
Okay.
so you can be ready for Friday.
Okay, so that's going to do it for us. Go like and follow the Unspoken Podcast, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, at the UDUP, at the UD Network on Facebook and Twitter for the Undetermined Podcast Network itself. That's going to do it. I'm Tom Albano, along with Nick Fodera and Nick Morgasen. Good night, everybody. And
Good night, everybody.
And hopefully the Giants can survive. Good night.
And fuck you, Giants, was more like it.